Good day, this video is about replacing the anode rod in your hot water tank, whether it's gas or electric. And the reason you want to do that is the anode rod, basically with all the minerals and stuff that's in the water, can be very corrosive to a water tank, and the anode rod kind of like attracts all that corrosiveness. And it sort of sacrifices itself so that it does not destroy the lining of your tank. This is a typical water tank. It's about 51 inches tall, around there. The anode rod is located there. We're going to have to take that out. But before you even start any of that business, you need to turn off the water supply to the house. If you're on a well, you're probably very familiar with it. City water, sometimes there should be a tap by your water meter. In this situation, there's actually a valve right on the inlet with cold water in pipe here. It's right back here. Probably can't see it. It's up here. But anyways, it's off. I just turned it off. And then what you need to do is open a tap. Find the lowest hot water tap in the house and turn that on. We need to do that because we need to drain a little bit of water out of the tank before we undo the anode rod here. So here, I'll show you. Okay, so the water supply to the house is off, and I have a hot water tap open. The pressure's all come out of there. Then you need to come around your tank. Now near the bottom, there's going to be a valve here. And I have a little bucket. And let's just turn this on. And we'll want to drain out about 4 liters or approximately a gallon. So we're going to fill this thing up, and then we'll close the valve. Okay, we've already filled up about 4 liters here. Now just turn it off. You don't have to crank it super tight, just tighten it by hand. And let's get this water out of the way here. You just dump this down the sink or whatever. We're good to go. The water's off. All the pressure's out of the line. So now we have to take out to this here. That's the anode rod. Okay, so I actually recommend just using hand tools to do this. Of course, I'm going to use my drill here, but I've done this so many times, I understand the torque and over-tightening and make sure it's not cross-threaded. But if you do things by hand, you can't go wrong. So remember, it goes counterclockwise if you have a socket and a wrench. Oh, and I should mention, the silly thing is with these things, this is a 1 1/16 socket. It is not standard in most like tool kits that you buy from the store. So you're gonna probably have to go out and buy one. And we'll just loosen this up. I'll get this out of here. And once I get it out, I'm gonna put this beside a brand new one. And yeah, it's pretty amazing what's happened here. Okay, so this anode rod came out of a typical 40-gallon hot water tank, and the rod is around 34 inches long. If you're looking to replace one, so find one around that long. Don't go any longer than that, or else it won't fit. But look at the old one. There's nothing there. It's basically destroyed in here. Nothing at the end compared to the new one. I mean, wow. What I'm doing is I'm using a zinc aluminum rod. I think it's mostly aluminum in here, but there's zinc in it. Whereas the old ones, or the ones that they come with, often are only the cheaper magnesium ones. And apparently the aluminum zinc or zinc aluminum rods will help prevent that rotten egg smell if you're on a well. If you have really smelly water, go for this aluminum zinc or zinc aluminum type rod. Now the old one, I believe, is a magnesium rod, which is very common that they ship with because, you know, they're cheaper. And actually, I think magnesium is fine for most cases. If you're on a well, though, and you have, you know, pretty harsh water with a lot of minerals, you might want to consider going with a zinc aluminum or aluminum zinc. The ones with the zinc and aluminum are supposed to help prevent that rotten egg smell if your water's smelly. So that's why I'm giving this one a go. So let's get her put in. Okay, so before you put the new rod in, get a funnel, and you need to add a little bit of bleach. Now the instructions, I mean, I think it's way overboard. They're talking about putting 1 cup of bleach in for each 5 gallons of water. So this is a 40-gallon tank, 151 liters. So do the math. I think that's way too much. I have treated this tank before, only a couple weeks ago. So I'm just going to add in like about half a cup of bleach, and it'll be fine. Especially if you do it at night, let it sit overnight. I mean, that sounds extreme, putting that much bleach in here. So we'll just put in like about half a cup here. That's just to take care of any contaminants or something that might have gotten into your water system while this is open. Now I'm going to put the rod in, and in some cases your tank might be in a very, you know, the ceiling height might be very low, and you might not be able to fit in one of these longer 36-inch rods. But you can actually buy ones that they have, well, what's the right word? They're segmented so that they fold up, so you can put each segment in at a time. So if you're in a really tight spot, look those up on the internet and you can actually buy those. But if you can fit the one solid one in, I think that's the way to go. Now they do recommend putting Teflon tape on the threads. I have some Teflon tape. I'll show you what it looks like actually. This is what Teflon tape looks like. Now they say you should put some on, and I have never had one leak before, but just for the sake of argument, I'll put a little bit on. What the heck? That's what the instructions say, so I'll show you. You know, you could do a wrap around there. But I really don't think that's necessary. Just take a look. You'll know right away if it's going to be leaking. But we'll put some on. And put it down in there. Start it by hand. It should screw in nicely, quite a ways. And then again, use your wrench with your socket and do it up by hand. Don't over tighten it. Just give it a little bit, tighten it up. In fact, I put my wrench or my impact here on low just to start it. Hopefully I'm going the right way. I don't know, I've done this so many times I kind of know how tight it's going to be. It doesn't take much, folks. That's good. And you know what? What I can do, I'll turn the water on now. I still have my tap open, by the way. Just going to turn it on slow. Give it a second to get the air through the lines. I'll turn it right up. My water's starting to flow over here. There's some air coming out. You have to get the air out. So it's on full now, the tap. It's taking a second for the air to get out. Water's starting to flow now. We'll let her go for about 20 more seconds once it starts coming out nice. Alright, that's looking good. I'll turn off the tap. And at this point, I mean, I don't see anything leaking, but again, you know, come back, you know, in a few hours or the next day or whatever, just take a look and see if there's any water around there. But, you know, honestly, I've never used the Teflon tape and they've always sealed up fine, so I think we're good to go. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up.